mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes you're gonna have to lose. Ain't no doubt how fast
And he said there was no sound. Okay, but you guys could read, right? I think if any group knows that song, it's you. So I don't think it really matters that there was no sound. Okay, but thanks anyway, Jenny, for letting me know. Hey guys, welcome to Diamond Zone, Wednesday morning edition. It's already Wednesday, and I know that we have a lot of information we want to share with you today. We have one of our guest speakers, Mr. Dan Maes, that is going to share with you today. And so before we get into that, I do want to do a couple of things. First of all, as you all know, the conference is this weekend, the All My Life at the Renaissance Los Angeles, Friday. Let me make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, hang on. I want to make sure. Yep, I think you can. It is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and you will have top leaders there, starting with Chad and Natita, Rachel and Seville. Our new Chief Marketing Officer will be there, which is Douglas Robinson, and of course, Mr. Ramalcio Fulcher. So that is this weekend. I know people's situations change. Maybe you could come. That would be great. Never miss a company event has always been the motto. And the other thing that we have, of course, our opportunity call tonight at 12 and 6, and that is at privatehelomeeting.com. So make sure that you promote that event tonight. And what I want to talk about today briefly, because I want to bring up Dan Maes, and I'll lead Dan into what we want him to talk about, and I'll give him the proper introduction. But, you know, a lot of people, guys, and I just want to touch on this today. You know, I get a lot of requests or a lot of questions about, you know, Jeff, I'm through my warm market, right? Everybody knows what I'm doing. And, you know, first of all, I question that if everybody really, really knows in your warm market what you do. And I'm not saying you haven't. All I'm saying is I know if I still go through and scroll through mine, right, there's certain people that I still haven't touched, right? And I know that. So I just want people to know that we have the world as a potential prospect. And we all know that everybody wants something that we offer, right? You all know the globe. But there's a lot of different ways to reach out to people, and there's a lot of different niches within network marketing. And, you know, we perfected a niche that we really made a lot of money with when we were with our first company, and that was radio. That was just a niche that we went into because understand something. We were a higher end multi-level marketing company. So we were going after a certain person, but we perfected that niche. Other people perfected at the time fax machines, right? Sending out faxes. I know I'm aging myself now, but that became a niche. You know, Lisa's niche was the stay-at-home mom. She knew how to talk to them. What you guys got to know is this. You all have a background, right? And it's easier to talk to people, okay, that you know and what they've gone through than sometimes completely a cold market. But everything that we train at Diamond Zone is always talking to your warm market first, right? Because you know their needs and wants. But how do you make a cold market warm? And making a cold market warm takes time, effort, and energy. You know what I wrote down yesterday when I was listening to that John Maxwell, when he was talking about what was the topic yesterday? Whatever it was, I wrote down recruiting is simply effort. That's all recruiting is. Recruiting is effort. It's consistent effort, and you're going to recruit. But most people don't do it long enough to make their cold market warm. Building that rapport, establishing that relationship, right? So to fill up your funnel, right? So you have a warm funnel. That's how you get people closed, right? Getting somebody warm, getting somebody comfortable with the information, getting somebody comfortable with you, right? But you got to fill up your warm market. And I just put down some different ways that I know have been done very successfully. And it may or may not be for you, because some of you, when I go through some of these things, you're going to roll your eyes. I would never do that. Okay. But you got to find something you will do. Okay. It's easy to say what you won't do, but what will you do? What are you comfortable with? You got to find it. Okay. It could be, obviously, we know warm market. We know marketing online. How about warm market referrals? Right? Networking events. Lisa's done many different trainings on networking events. Why? That became her niche. Joining the Chamber of Commerce, meetup.com. Have you gone there yet? Different events in your local market, meetup.com. Some people go, I'm really involved in the church. Good. Get involved in your church events. Get involved at your children's school if you have kids. Some people always say this to me, I love to help people. Good. Volunteer. If you volunteer, guess what? You're around people. Go volunteer with all these organizations if you really want to give back. And watch what happens. Here comes conversation with other people who volunteer, which means they probably have some time if they're volunteering. Business cards and books at bookstores. This is where I get into some of the things I would never do. Okay, well, some people do this, right? They just leave business cards. That's just totally a numbers game. How about this one? I used to say this all the time. I would never put a decal in my car or a magnet on my car. Well, maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. But you can't deny the fact that some companies actually teach this. Companies that became $1 billion, that's part of what they tell their distributors to do day one. Put a decal on your car because you're passing millions of people. And once again, I'm just giving you ideas. Not saying you need to do this. What I am saying is anything that's on this sheet has been done because it's been perfected. And you never teach something that you know hasn't worked. I know it's worked. I know in our other company, Organo Gold, when you won the car bonus, you had to put their decal on the bottom of the car. It said OG, Organo Gold. And if I wanted the $1,000 a month, because I qualified for it every month, I had to make sure, and I had to take a picture that that sticker was on the car, because they believed in that. And I got to tell you, as much as that was uncomfortable for me in the beginning, I can't tell you how many times I would pull up to the country club and people would say, what's Organo Gold? It did work. Okay, the biggest problem was me. I had a problem with it. Other people didn't. And this is what stuns a lot of people. We manufacture things in our brain that are going to be perceived by other people as something that they would never do. You know what? One thing I've learned, who cares? And I always say this, the day you stop caring what other people think, right, is the day you start to become financially independent. Okay, charity events. Trade shoes. Yeah, do a trade shoe. Do a trade show. right? Christy talked about the one that she did very successfully just recently. I see a lot of people doing these, right? Go to your kids' sporting events. In fact, if you have kids, go to all their events. Never missed one. Why? Because you're around other parents. Craigslist. I know Sheila's team has done unbelievable things with Craigslist. Okay, radio, right? We're going to be doing something within radio. Okay, here's another one. People say, well, I got to get around people. Go start doing what you like to do. Do more of it. Or maybe do something you've always wanted to do. Jeff, I've always wanted to learn how to golf. Good, go golf. Guess what they're going to do? Once you get your skill set, they're going to put you into a foursome. It's going to be you and 3 other people for 4 hours. How about that one for marketing? Tennis. Join a health club. You know me. Don't get me on my stump on this one. You want to get around 200 or 300 people a day? Join a health club. Talk about a double whammy. Not only am I getting myself in better shape so I have more energy, but I'm also putting myself in a position to prospect. Business cards on cork boards at Starbucks. Right? Every Starbucks has a cork board. I'm just giving you ideas. Facebook friends, Facebook groups. I haven't done this, but it says Google search your city name and then professionals. And here come all the professionals in that city. Google search your city name and realtors, financial planners. Put in whatever you do or whatever you did. Right? We've done many trainings through LinkedIn. Melanie, right, giving us unbelievable tips. And a lot of you are doing that. Twitter, YouTube, Google+. Go shopping. Do you know Amway would actually do a teaching? It was a full day course on how to go shopping and start conversations with the salespeople. Anytime, anywhere, with anybody. Talk to telemarketers. Business cards and airplane magazines. I told this story before. One of the most successful people in network marketing history, person's name is Jeff Roberti. He's the #1 earner in Juice Plus, what used to be NSA water filters. And that company had a magazine. You know what he would do? The way he would market? Because he would travel. Back then it was belly to belly. And by the way, Dan, I'm just going to give you a heads up. That's what I want you to talk about today. Where we always talk about go old school. Okay, we're going to talk to you. Dan's going to talk to you about what old school was. It was belly to belly business. So you know what he used to do? He would buy, okay, if he had a plane ticket, right, he would call the airport or the gate and said, how's the flight look? They said, well, it's completely booked. He said, well, how many people does your flight hold? They'd say, well, 200. He would have 200 magazines, and as he was going down the aisle, he would be handing everybody his company magazine. That's how he did it. And every time he had a flight, right, even though some people would throw it away, some people put down, but many people were reading the book. And he would always sit, not in the front, the back of the plane. And as he was leaving, right, here come questions. And that was just one way that he did it. But he had his own company magazine. But what if you put business cards in the airplane magazines? Business cards in bathrooms, at airports, Starbucks. Like I said, some of you will be rolling your eyes at some of these things. But if the desire's there, right, the how-to doesn't matter. Believe me. Entertain at home. This became another big niche for us. We always had big homes, entertaining homes. We would always have a party. Our first mentor said, have a party, Jeff. Just have a party. Okay, then we started to do a party with a purpose, where there was actually a presentation. But in the beginning, we just had a party. You know why? Everybody shows for a party. It's amazing. And you know what I would do? I'd have all my other distributors there that were serious, and it wasn't about attacking people at the party. You know what the purpose of the party was? Just to get people around the people. And really, sincerely, just have a party. But conversations happen at parties, right? Well, what do you do? Well, I know Jeff and Lisa. How do you know Jeff and Lisa? They're my business partners. Business partners? What kind of business? Okay. Well, back then it was we're in nutritional supplements, products for weight loss, energy, sports nutrition. Oh, and here comes interest. So you just have a social event. So we had a saying. Meetings, parties, and trainings. Meetings, parties, and trainings is how we made an unbelievable income. And these are just, guys, just some memory joggers, just some things that you can do, right? Some people, I don't know what to do. Well, I just put up there 25 things that people can do, and there are some things that are not even on here. So when someone says, how do I fill up my funnel? Okay, well, I just gave you a bunch of different ways you could do that. And here's the mindset I want you to have. Okay? And then Dan, I'm going to bring you up. Okay. Can you see that, Annette? Tips to working cold market leads? Okay. All right. So here's some tips, guys. Just so you're out there, you're talking to people, and just so you know, it's all about your mindset. Everything is about your mindset. It's getting in front of people. Okay? You must stop selling and start interviewing. I want you to interview people. I want you to ask the right questions. Okay, I did that training earlier this week, right? Being very, very, very diligent about listening to people. This is how you make your warm market, okay? I mean, your cold market warm. It's interviewing people, right? It's not just talking at people. It's letting them talk. Utilize a tool. Once the interest is created, we all know this, other than yourself, to present your business. Okay, so we have the 3-minute video. That's the tool we're talking about. Now, understand, this is the mentality you got to have. Remember, you're in this for the long haul, right? It takes about 90 days to fill up your pipeline. Crush the phones. Stay consistent. Okay, now when I say crush the phones, we're talking about warm market people. But this is what a lot of people don't understand. It does. It takes about 90 days to fill up your pipeline. But you got to pick your 3 or 4 things that you're going to commit to and stay consistent. You need a solid follow-up system. I know Lisa's touched on this many times. Manual, automated. What is your system for follow-up once you fill up your funnel? Right? Once you have a prospect. Right? I put it in my day. Monday, met Annette. Built rapport. Sent 3-minute video. Told me she would watch it on Wednesday. So I put on Wednesday, call Annette. Right? Your follow-up system. Think long-term and straightforward, straight at you guys. It's a numbers game. Duh. It's a numbers game. Connect with them on Facebook, right? Or whatever social media platform. And then another tip, because like I said, I want to get out of the way because I want Dan to be able to share with you today. I'm just giving you guys some ideas. Big thing, I always pace when I'm on the phone. I want my energy to come through. I want my personality to come through. I want them to feel my smile. People do business with people they like. And I'm telling you guys, energy and excitement is contagious. These are just different tips. When you're out there, you got to be somebody. Now, you have to be a crazy person. Don't get me wrong. while you're walking around like a nut bag, okay? But I am saying, right, you gotta show, right, that you're energized, you're excited about what you're doing. I love that. I love when people talk to me and you could see their excitement and their passion coming out. Because I've learned, as people do anything, they do everything. And if they do a networking event lethargic, they're going to do business being lethargic. It's not who I'm looking for. Remember, I'm the CEO. You're the CEO. Who do you want on your team? You choose. See, sometimes we get this all wrong. We think we're going to take anybody with a pulse. And that may be your mentality in the beginning, which is okay, by the way. But eventually, you start to choose who you want on your team. So these are just some networking tips, guys, and just some networking ideas to kick off the first 15 minutes. But what I want to do is I'm going to unmute, and I'm going to give him the proper introduction. Where'd he go? I just saw him. I just saw his beautiful face. There he is. He's a beautiful man, by the way. Wait, Dan, I gotta unmute you. How come my unmute's not working? Hang on. Huh. All right, let me see if I could let you unmute yourself, if that works. Try that, Dan. There you go.
How's that?
There you go. Perfect. Okay. So guys, let me give Dan the proper introduction. Lisa and I have known Dan for over 25 years. Dan was our first sponsor. I remember the story very vividly, and I'm just going to tell you guys real briefly, because I want you guys to picture this. My industry's going through changes. I'm making less money. Lisa's a stay-at-home mom, and our kids were 4 and 1. And every day, Lisa would walk to the park to meet this neighbor named Tasha Maddie, who also had the same age kids. They would go to the baby pool, right? That's what they did. They just hung out at the baby pool because with the kids. And one day after I came home, And one day after I came home and told Lisa, we got to do something to make more money, the next day she's walking to the baby pool and she says, Tasha, we got to do something. Jeff's making less money. And Tasha said very vividly, you got to talk to my friend, Dan Maes. He's involved, listen guys, in this thing. This is how it was explained to her. In this thing. And Lisa goes, sounds good to me, right? Tell Dan to call me. Okay, so Lisa goes home, puts the stroller in the garage, and as soon as the garage door went down, because Tasha must have went home and said, I got somebody for you, Dan calls Lisa. And here we go. And within 2 hours, he's there sampling Lisa product, because that was the model back then, sample the nutritional supplements. Okay, then she went to a meeting, and here we go. Walking to a park with a neighbor, and Dan Maes was our first sponsor. Multi-million-dollar earner in the industry, guys, a grand diamond here at World Global Network. So Dan, you kind of heard, and I don't have to lead you, you got all the experience in the world, but, one of the things I do want you to touch on is everybody says, we're old school. I don't know any other way how to build a business, Dan, but to be belly to belly, person to person, and we could get out of balance just being online. Maybe tell some of the stories, some of the things that we've done or anything you want to add. But guys, please welcome Grand Diamond, Mr. Dan Maes.
Thank you, Jeff. Wow. Nice applause. Hey, everybody. Let's see, what a beautiful day here. I don't know if Jeff said it, but I'm in one of the most beautiful places on the planet. In my eyes, I'm in South America. I'm in a city called Medellin, Colombia. So Medellin sits in the middle of the country. It's not on the ocean, but it's becoming a very, very, very popular destination spot for people from all over the world, including Americans, and some of you may be saying, Medellin, what the heck are you doing down there? Isn't that Pablo Escobar territory? And, people start to draw conclusions. Even one time, some of my team members, because I went like this and wiped my nose, they told me later, well, Dan, we thought you were just down there for the cocaine. So I'm just being honest. No, I don't do that stuff. It's an amazing place. Actually, if you go to my Facebook page, if we're friends on Facebook, one of my posts there, I think it's even open to the public if we're not friends, is an article they just did about this place, and it's just phenomenal. It's becoming popular. Perfect weather, perfect climate. The people are the nicest people in the world, and the beautiful thing about network marketing, when you have success, it allows you to make choices in life. It's yes, the money is crazy good if you build it. But I get more excited about the time freedom and the freedom to just do whatever the heck you want to do in your life. And in a matter of just a few months after getting involved in this business, 15, 16 months ago, November of 2016, within 90 days or so, I had the opportunity and the choice, because I was willing to passionately share what I found with World Global Network, thanks to Lisa. Talk about what goes around comes around. Lisa called me up in October, just before that trip down to meet Fabio, and she actually sent me a 2-minute video. Back then it was a 2-minute video, and so here I am. But the story is that 25 years later, it's come back to me, and it's given me this incredible freedom and opportunity to travel the world and to be where I want to be. People ask all the time, why are you in Medellin? Because I can be. It may not be your choice, but guys, if you dream big and you think big, maybe this doesn't fit your lifestyle to move to South America or whatever, but what does fit your lifestyle? What do you dream about? What is it that you want? And I was wanting to get out of Denver. I have 3 beautiful kids. Like Jeff just said, his daughters were just a couple years old, 3, 4, 5 years old back when we started back in 1993. And I had 1 daughter back then, and now I have 2 more kids. The youngest is freshman at the University of Colorado. So my vision, my dream, I was living in Denver, was to live in Denver the good 6 months. I'm not a skier, so that'll tell you what I mean. And then live down in Mexico, in Puerto Vallarta. The other 6 months, I spent a lot of time there. We had a home down there for a while, thanks to network marketing. The kids were raised, between Denver. We spent tons of time down in Mexico. And so my daughter graduated last May, but in March, because of the efforts of my amazing team, between November, right after I went to my final thing, I saw the videos, I was on the webinars. I had an opportunity to fly down and meet with Fabio Galdi on November 5th and 6th with a couple of key prospects, a couple of key business partners from the past. Jeff and Lisa were there. And that's when my life changed. It was that belief, that unconditional belief that I was in the right place at the right time. And I loved the way that Lisa brought me to the table. She didn't sell me. She didn't call me. She sent a text message. And it said something like this, and it's almost verbatim. It said, "Hi, Dan, I hope you and the kids are well. Listen, Jeff and I have made a decision to introduce this amazing new technology to the U.S. market." That's what she said. She said, "You know how much we value your opinion. Would you please watch this video and give us your feedback?" So classic. And out of respect to Lisa, I watched that video, and I was pretty impressed. Now, I remember thinking, I don't need that. I don't need to track, my blood pressure. I'm pretty healthy. And, I kind of had that attitude, but it didn't matter. I knew that other people would want it and need it, and that wearable technology was really big. So then Lisa got me onto a call with Jeremy Roma. We did a 3-way call. She got me to go to the webinar, which was also by Jeremy Roma. And she just kind of staged me through, and something just hit me. I just knew what I had to do. And that's when I asked if I could meet Fabio Galdi, because after 25 years, I didn't want to make a mistake. I didn't want to go to the wrong company. I've been fooled before, and having the right leadership and the right vision behind the company and the right kind of future thoughts was very, very important to me. So classic. And so we went about our business and started to do I did exactly what Lisa did. I started sending out text messages to people. I went to the bottom. First, I started with my chat list. And I just went to the bottom of all the chats. So it's because these are people I had talked to recently, at least over the last few months or a year. And I just started sending out the text messages. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but it worked. And so within 90 days, I made a decision to move down here to Medellin, Colombia. I've been here most of the last year. It just hit my anniversary of being down here. So I'm very blessed. So that's how I ended up down here. But the real story is having the type of business model that we were really focused on in the beginning, which was, a true stay-at-home business, work-from-home business. But over time, what I realized, even though that worked for me and it helped me to get to where I am right now as a Grand Diamond, and just chomping at the bit to get to the president and above level, and that's going to happen soon. I realized that what I love to do and the way that I got where I am across the board since 1993 is what Jeff said, the term we use, belly to belly, just meeting people, just connecting with people, finding ways to create conversation. You know what really is magical? If you start asking people, even strangers, questions about themselves, about their family, about their wants and their needs and their desires and their dreams, people love to talk. They really do. My philosophy was pretty straightforward. If I started a conversation with somebody, it was on a bus, an airplane, at my kids', lacrosse game, wherever I was, and started communicating with someone, starting with, "Hi, how are you today?" If eventually they didn't ask me a question or two, they were not what I was looking for. They weren't interested in me or anything about me, and that's okay. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting for that conversation. But I found a way to, and what I taught to my team, which turned out to be thousands and thousands of people over time, and as like Jeff and Lisa, I became a 7-figure earner in that first company. I stayed for 10 years. Jeff and Lisa, they outdid me. They were some of the first people I brought. It actually was Lisa. You guys have heard Jeff's story a million times, but Jeff wasn't really involved in the beginning. He was there, shaking his head and with his tan and his smile, but he was just he was like jewelry for Lisa. She just wore him on her wrist, but she went crazy and she built this thing, and the way that happened, Jeff said it. It's because I was willing to be out there, belly to belly, meeting people, asking questions, finding out more about them, hoping they asked about me. Well, this girl, Tasha, moved from Canada with her husband, Ron. Ron is and was then a United Airlines pilot, and he worked in the training facility, teaching pilots, training pilots. And we had a simple process, which I still follow this day. Keep it simple, use it, become a product of your product, share it, share the product. At that time it was samples. Share your story, share 3-way calls, share. That was part of the simple steps of success. And then when you got people's interest, show them how they could have what you have, whether it's just the products or the business, and then duplicate. I mean, how simple does it get? And I followed that. Use it, share it, show people how to get it, teach them to do what I just said. Use it, share, show people how to get it, teach them to do it. We did that. But what I got good at was leaving the house and going to work. But what was work? Just getting out in front of people, guys. I mean, I had a job for the first 9 months. I went full-time after about 9 months because my income was growing to the point where I was almost out producing my 13-year, I was in the high-tech industry, the technology world. I sold software. That was my last job. And I started outpacing that number. So I went full-time in the summer of 1994 into this business and just started getting out and meeting people. And I remember, one of my mentors in that company said, get out and do what you love to do. What is it that you love to do, Dan? What makes you happy? Go do that, but be ready to do business, because you're at work when you're doing that. See, we don't just go to work. Oh, it's 8 o'clock. I go to work. It's 5 o'clock. I'm off work. We're always at work. Now, that sounds horrible if you don't have the context around what I'm saying, guys, but you're always at work. Wherever you are, you should be prepared to share. Share what? Your story, your vision, your excitement, your product. Do a demo of your product. Be prepared to do business, because you never know who you're going to run into. Tasha was a neighbor, and they invited us over for dinner. We went over for dinner, and I took her a box of samples. Guys, I swear this thing was I think it was $110, Jeff. Is that right? I mean, they were big. They had 4 or 5 different products in the box.
Dan, this is $100 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and we would buy lots of those sample packs. I mean, when we bought our order, at least half of our order was in these $100 sample packs. People get nervous about giving away bios, then try giving away tons of $100 sample packs. But guys, it turned into millions of dollars. It freed me from the bonds of corporate America. It gave me, for the last 25 years, a lifestyle that, thinking back, I dreamt about as a kid. I'm not bragging. I just dreamt about living wherever I wanted to live. I speak Spanish, so Latin America has always been a place for me. When I was in the software industry, my last job, my territory for the last 5 years was Latin America. That's how I found out about this beautiful city. I came here once. I was in Bogota a lot, and boy, it was dangerous back then. Pablo Escobar, if you don't know who that is, Narcos, probably the most horrific mass murderer on the planet, killed thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Bombings all over this city, right here below where I am, in this beautiful part of town, very metropolitan town. It's more like a European town, especially where I am right here. They were setting off bombs, killing cops, beheading people, bringing down airplanes. It's just horrible. And it was my territory, and I loved it down here. But I was burnt out. I was traveling. I never saw my daughter. Rarely saw her. Always gone. So when I gave this sample pack to Tasha, I remember it was several months. And every time I went next door to their house, there was that box sitting on the counter. I'd say, Tasha, why aren't you guys taking these products? She said, oh, Dan, we will. Finally, I said, I'm going to take them back. I think I scared her so much, they moved. They moved to the other side of town. They moved to Jeff and Lisa's side of town. And then they invited us over for dinner. And guess what I saw sitting on their counter in their brand new home on the other side of town? That damn box. There it was. So this time I did threaten. I said, I'm taking it, because I'm going to give it to somebody who cares. I was kind of mad. I was just kind of like, why are you even putting it out so I could see it? But that's when it all happened. That's when Tasha and Lisa went on their walk, and the whole thing that Jeff just said. It was that one, I shared my story with Tasha, and I gave her those samples. And what that turned into was, it changed my entire life. Everything, because Jeff and Lisa went on, after I left that company, they continued, and they eventually became the #1 money earners in that company, following a very simple: use it, share it, show people how to get it, duplicate. Use it, share it, show people how to get it. You remember, Jeff, how many millions of times did we hear that and say that? But that model was the foundation of our success, because it forced you to get out there and share with people. I'll give you a great example. When I found out I could live the lifestyle I want to live, and be careful with this, don't go crazy, but I did. It worked for me. I joined a country club. I'm a golfer. And this was not an inexpensive country club. This thing, I think it cost me $65,000 or $70,000 to join this club. So, well, the guy told me, because my wife was saying, why are you joining that country club? We've got golf course all around you. They're $20, $30. Well, why $60,000? Because it's spectacular. And those are the kind of people I want to meet that can afford that. Because guys, I don't sell product. I sell vision. I sell opportunity. That's my product. I love our products, but the product for me is not that product. That's a part of it. The product is the opportunity to have freedom, to live the lifestyle that we want to live, to make choices in your life because you can, to do what you choose to do every single day because that's what you choose to do, not because that's what you have to do. Think about the value of that. If you really believe that, would you be selling helos? Would you be selling Biozen? I'm not saying that's a bad thing to do. I'm not. If you do that, that's great. Whatever activity, as long as there's activity. But for me, it's getting out amongst people and sharing what I'm excited about. Creating in their eyes, allowing them to see what I see through my eyes. If you can get people to see what you see, if you can get people to align with your vision, you're going to eventually build a big business because people want what this industry, what this company has to offer. So I joined this country club and I went to play my inaugural round, and they make you play with the member so the member can show you the course. Well, I knew the course. I'd been there a few times as a guest. So I didn't really need this round, but it's mandatory. So I get to the clubhouse and they say, oh, Dan, Mr. Maes, your member is a no-show. He called, he said he can't make it, but we're not gonna have you come all the way out here to not play. So there's a threesome getting ready to go on off the first tee box. Why don't you jump on with them? They're members. So I sit down on the cart with the guy. I could barely fit on the cart with him. He was big. Remember Jeff, just smiling. His name was HK, as in Heavy Kevy, HK Bain. So he's sitting next to me. I'm squeezed onto the golf cart on the side. I'm driving, so I'm like this because this guy is huge. But he'd already lost like 30 pounds. Well, guess what? I had him and those other two guys for 5.5 hours. If I have you for 5 hours, I'm going to ask you so many questions in a way that's not going to make you mad. I'm going to know everything about you. That's why golf was my favorite place. And by the end of it, I found out he was a gold member at what's the nutritional supplement store, the major one. Anyway, one of the big, he loves supplements. And I just continued to feed him my story, and my story was I lost 22 pounds of body fat. I mean, I'm not that big. I'm 5'10", 170 pounds, the same exact size I was in high school back in the 70s. But I had lost 22 pounds and maybe 23 pounds on this product. The product that I was sampling to people, it was sampled to me. That's how I got involved. Somebody gave me 10 days of samples, a guy named Joel. Remember him? Yep, Joel Peterson. But he sampled me, and I didn't lose a bunch of weight on the samples, but I felt amazing. I felt energy. Well, when you took these pills, it was a Fedra base. The hair on the back of your neck stood up. You had this crazy energy. And I dropped a couple pounds. It was enough to get me to buy more product. And I didn't sign up. I hated network marketing. I didn't even know really what it was. I knew about it, but I didn't really understand it. Sometimes if you're not up on something, you're down on it, right? So I was down on the concept. I was a big shot corporate guy. I'm traveling the world. Network marketing wasn't my deal. When he asked me to sign up, I said, no way. I'll buy retail. He said, good. So I bought another month's worth retail, but I dropped the weight. So of course, here's this massive guy on my golf cart. I tell him about my story. I asked him questions. He was a vice president at AT&T. Big shot. My client was big telcos and utility companies. That's where I sold all over the world. But at that time, I had a customer back in the U.S. in Colorado, the phone company. So there's a point to all this, guys. I don't want to belabor the story, but it's all about getting out and telling your story and being in front of people. By the end of that round, HK makes a decision to buy $40,000 worth of this product. 40. Why? Because that's what I did. And I told him that. He says, 40,000. He goes, you're running a business? I said, yeah. He goes, 40,000, that's nothing. We think 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 a lot, not if you're buying into a vision, not if you're buying into a potential legacy. 40,000 was nothing. But he bought the 40,000 the next day. But the following Tuesday, he invited me to his office. He had all of his vice presidents in his office. And all of them bought, there were like 6 of them. They either bought 40,000 or they bought $20,000 in that 1 month because of one game of golf. My first round on this golf course, I generated hundreds of thousands of dollars in brand new volume, one transaction, and made, and made a lot of money. So now I believe that was possible. But if you haven't had something like that happen to you, it's harder to believe. That's why we tell stories, guys. So Lisa, I love this part of the story. It went on. I meet Lisa. I meet Tasha. I go to lunch with them. I explain everything to them. And at the end, Lisa says, Dan, I love this idea. I was looking for something. I want to stay home. I don't want to go get a job. So how much do I need to start with? I said, that's pretty simple. You need to do what I did. $40,000. She didn't blink. She didn't do 40,000 at that moment because she said, my husband will find out if that credit card bill comes back. So she did thousands of dollars though. And then she went to work. And by the end of the month, she had accumulated 40,000 in volume. Because she did what I said. I said, let's go talk to everybody, Lisa. We just hung out. We locked arms. And I sat down with them and I said, hey guys, 40,000. I said, Tasha, you brought Lisa to the table. You don't look as excited as Lisa, but you need to get in, girlfriend. I'm just telling you, you need to sign up first. And then you sign up Lisa. Okay, so just give me the clock. You sign up Lisa. And she said, no, I can't do it, Dan. I said, well, at least do the $100. At least get in the loop. I'm going to give you that opportunity. At least get in the loop. And she did. She got in the loop. She did $100. She called me that night crying. Oh my goodness. Like a woman, really, really upset, crying. And her first words were, my husband's an ass. He's pissed at me because I spent $100. He said that you scammed me out of $100, you and Susan, and he wants his money back. And she's crying. She said, I'm so mad at him. And I said, okay, I'll give you the $100 myself because the company doesn't reimburse it. I don't want the headache, but you have to relinquish your distributorship. You need to send a letter, and you do that, I'll give you the $100 and tell Ron he is an ass. That's how, that kind of ended that. You do lose some friends. I can tell you that's one friend I lost. Who says that about people, that I scammed her out of $100? But she never sent the letter. And Lisa went on to build a multi-million-dollar company. Tasha made hundreds of thousands of dollars for one referral. I swear to you, that's a true story. She Not right away, but over time.
She made 6 figures 8 years in a row off one person.
Right. And she didn't want to do it, and her husband said it was a scam. And he still never called me to apologize. I'm still mad at him. But I learned from that. Go play golf. Go do what you love to do. Go to your kids' activities. Get out. Go to the grocery store. Start conversation, guys. Not everyone's going to be responsive to it, but that's what I did when I got on airplanes. True story. I was married at the time. We would get on airplanes to go on trips, and my wife and I would sit in different rows because you had more opportunity to share and to ask questions and to connect with people. And I literally would choose the middle seat. I chose the middle seat. Why? Because I had 2 opportunities, right? And what I would do is I would sit in that middle seat. I swear to you, I would pull the seat back down, and I'd start pouring out all my pills. And I would always ask for water. Like I'd make a scene. I'd call the lady over. I'd hit my button. She'd come over. And she'd give me water, and these people think, why does he get water before the planes even take it? I mean, I'd start pouring out all my pills. They were falling down on the ground. I'm lifting up my chair table. I'm using myself and the people next to me. Like, I'm sorry, what are you doing? I'm grabbing my anti-aging stuff. I'm grabbing my weight loss pills. I mean, I would, whatever it took to get people's attention. And when I got into this business 15, 16 months ago, guys, I lost that. I got caught up in, man, this is cool. We just sit at home and we'll build from home. Well, that's fine. That's the beauty. You can do that. I did it. Jeff and Lisa did it. A lot of us did it. We made a lot of money, ridiculous amounts of money. But I've decided now to get out, man. I get out. I go out. I'm out all day long. I'm in coffee shops. I'm wherever. I'm creating conversation. That's what you want to do. And share your story with people. It's all about that. It's about connecting with people and hitting them where it hurts. Here it is so easy because this is like the digital nomad capital of the world. It's also the plastic surgery capital of the world. But there's digital. They're all over the coffee shops. It's really big in the media right now. You know, all these digital nomads moving down, or people that can work anywhere they want in the world, they come here because the weather's perfect every single day, about 75 to 80 degrees. So I'm always out. I'm always talking to people. I'm going to a network marketing event. You know, I'm going to have my helo on. I'm going to be excited. I'm going to smile. I'm going to ask questions. And, you know, make it fun. If it's not fun, you're going to quit. If it's not fun and you're not making money, you're definitely going to quit. So you got to have fun with it. Get out, meet people, do the things that you love to do, but make sure you're always prepared to do business, whether it's you having your business card, your brochures, your helo on, your biozen in your pocket. Get out, have fun. I'll finish with this, Jeff. Guys, I always say this, and you have to take this to heart because sometimes you struggle and you go, God, I haven't signed anybody up in a month or 2 months or 6 months. How's this ever going to work for me? You hear these guys, Rob Ugera out there sponsoring hundreds of people. How am I going to get there? It's okay. One conversation with Tasha led to a conversation with Lisa, which earned me $1 million at least. In our business, guys, you're one person on your left and you're one person on your right away from more money than you can ever spend. So even though it may seem and feel frustrating because it's not moving at the pace, first of all, look inside. Are you doing the work? Are you sharing your vision, your opportunity, your story with people? Are you getting out there? Are you doing the work? And if the answer is yes, keep doing it with the confidence that one conversation could change your life for the rest of your life. I mean, it really can. It depends. At least two, one on the right, one on the left. However, as you put people on those two legs, you're all fishing for the same thing. So now you have more people looking for that big fish, that whale, that big networker, that person like a Lisa who's not a network marketer that evolved into one of the best in the industry. I tell her that all the time. She's the best of the best when she gets going. So where are you going to find them? You don't know. But if you don't ask and you don't tell your story and you don't get out there amongst people, it's never going to happen. You're just a couple of people away from financial freedom, from your whole life's changing. So hang in there, do the work, keep a smile on your face. And Jeff, that's it. I appreciate you giving me the time just to share a little bit with everybody. But, you know, do what you love to do, guys. Just be prepared to do business. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. And you know, one key point Dan made, because everybody's out there looking for a networker. Lisa wasn't a networker. You know what Lisa had? Desire and the right leadership. She had Dan and she had the right system. She wasn't a networker. She's a stay-at-home mom. That's the message. That's the message. And how do you find them? Everybody says you're one person away. Absolutely. Everybody is. Okay? But not without this mentality. You don't go out there and look for one person. You go out there and you talk to everybody. And that's how we built, guys. You heard it. You heard many different stories. That's how we did it. We were told, get around the people you want to get around. He joined a country club. I joined a health club, right? I met a guy in the steam room who used to play for the Los Angeles Rams, and a week later, he wrote a check for $360,000. Okay, now we don't have that opportunity here, but my point is, right, you're always networking. And we got to be balanced. That's all I'm saying. We got to be balanced. That's why I opened up with all the different ways to build your business. If you're just in front of the computer, you're limiting your opportunities. So Dan, that was epic. Thank you, brother. You brought me back with I forgot his name. Wait, hang on.
Hey.
What was it?
Heavy Kevin, HK Bain.
HK Bain. I remember going to his meetings, and he would be up there and go, I drove, $300,000 in business in a week. And Dan's in the back smiling because he made about, $100,000 on that deal. So Anyway, guys, appreciate you. Dan, thank you so much. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you. That was awesome.